And well, I've always liked La Manga Cartagena, right? So, well, I grew as a designer there. From that point, as you said, I got into and in Pin at Pininfarina, securing an internship through my work, and I won my first car design competition through the magazine Autopista, together with Nissan, Rotunda in London, who were organizing the competition at that time. And from there, little by little, well, I kept growing. And then, well, everything you've mentioned about my professional profile, well, then I wanted to professionalize myself more. And I was working in Barcelona. And what else can I tell you? I went to the Royal College of Art in London for 2 years, where I was sponsored by Bentley Motors. And from there, well, everything you've mentioned, the professional leaps you're talking about.
Very well. Hey, Arturo, you've worked at the Volkswagen Group in Germany for 10 years and also collaborated both in Belen and with Toyota. In terms of design, how do you see the major design differences between Japanese manufacturers, European manufacturers like the Volkswagen Group, and Chinese manufacturers? Because you've been through, let's say, the three main production hubs of vehicles in the world. Historically, Europe has been a great producer. Japan, for decades, the leading manufacturers. Toyota remains the largest car manufacturer in the world. And now the Chinese, who are already the largest vehicle exporter in the world. How do you see the difference in styles and designs in the area that concerns you, which is exterior design between each of the regions? What is liked more, what is liked less, and what are the major differences between them?
Let's see. I think that a while ago, the first difference could be the quality of materials and production quality. In terms of design, well, Volkswagen has always been very product design, very calm, without exaggerations, everything very meticulous. Nissan has always been a bit more daring, but it has always had a lot of reliability in terms of engines. Also, Volkswagen, it must be said. But always, for example, Nissan Toyota has always had its audience who likes a Toyota, probably won't like a Volkswagen. So I think that in terms of design, Toyota has always been a bit more daring in trying to appeal to Europeans, Japanese, and Americans. Because, for example, I think Toyota has always had its big market besides Japan and America, even more so than in Europe, I believe. And Volkswagen has always had its more conservative audience. And regarding the Chinese at the beginning, a few years ago, it was a bit like they didn't have that confidence in terms of design language, in terms of quality. But I think that right now they have nothing to envy. The Chinese or Chinese brands have nothing to envy from the Europeans or the Japanese. I think we are practically even surpassing them, so to speak, in terms of design and quality. I believe they no longer have anything to envy from European and Japanese brands. Moreover, I think that practically what is missing is the public's confidence in Chinese brands. As soon as there is more confidence, for example, Great Wall is gradually entering Europe, and Neon is doing the same. Perhaps the brand that is currently most visible in China is MG, and there's also Lynk & Co. or Seeker, which are gradually entering. And for example, Lynk & Co. and MG are becoming very common in Spain. I think that in a couple of years, the general public will gain more confidence and will increasingly look for switching from a European or Japanese brand to a European brand.
To a Chinese one? Hey, and speaking of design, there's always that negative mantra that they try to apply to the design of Chinese cars, saying that they only copy. This is a very recurring topic from the know-it-all uncle in Spain or on social media, where it said, no, but Chinese cars, the designs are just copied from European designs. What do you think about that? Because as you were saying, the design already made in China in many aspects is overtaking manufacturers from other regions of the world.
I think a few years ago it was like that. That's why they started hiring Europeans and Americans to help them create their own design language, to differentiate themselves, to bring that know-how they have from American and European brands to China and start learning. From these professionals to gradually grow or become independent from these types of European styles or American styles and start creating their own design or their own design style. I think now maybe there are some brands, because what needs to be said is that in China, I'm not sure if there are at least 100 vehicle or car brands. So thank you. Perhaps the smaller ones try to copy or perhaps do copy many types of European brands or many types of American brands, but I think those that are already well in the market, that have been around for a while, already have a history, are gradually creating their own design brand. For example, Seeker, for example, Neo, for example, Cratewall, with their different brands. So I think now each one is becoming more and more independent because they want to establish the market both in China and abroad. And they want the public to know them for a certain style, for a certain quality. So even though the Chinese market is very strong and there are many brands, I think each one wants to gradually try to differentiate itself. And in the end, I believe that over time, I think many Chinese brands will close. Perhaps the smaller ones will be less fortunate, but the larger ones will consolidate.